Hello, dear friends. We should be live now. Please let me know if everything is okay with the sound, if you can hear me. It's Monday, it's the beginning of the week, and at the same time, this is the very last day of April. So we will focus more on next month. And this will be a general monthly horoscope for May 2018. So here I have my notes. You can see. So we will talk about all of those aspects and basically how to prepare. Of course, I will still continue with my daily forecasts. Actually, they're even recorded for May, so you will still find the daily horoscopes. But I also want to make a more general forecast. It won't be so detailed, but at least you will have a main idea, general idea about the bigger picture. So what exactly to expect during the month, and also how to plan your important projects or things that you would like to start, and basically everything. Now, before we begin, I also want to remind you guys that you always need to check your personal indications. And it might be a very pleasant day. For example, we may have a great Venus aspect with Jupiter and so on. But if you happen to have, for example, square by Mars with your natal sun, you may still feel some kind of tension. There might be some kind of confrontation. So don't forget that you always need to check the personal indications in your own horoscope, progressions, transits, solar arc directions, and other things. And of course, the exact aspects during the month can show us the general tendencies about the energy, about the things which are favorable, and how to prepare better for those activities. So I think that we should be ready to begin now. All right, so the 1st of May. The very first day of May begins with two aspects between Venus and Mars and Venus and Saturn. There will be a semi-square between Venus and Mars, and also quincunx between Venus and Saturn. So generally the topic about emotions will be important for all of us, and there might be some kind of tension we need to handle with. Generally, Mars and Venus can, as a combination, can bring a lot of passion, but at the same time, it's possible that we may face with some kind of confrontations. Saturn is also a planet which brings possible restrictions, boundaries, some kind of challenges. Now, the thing about the quincunx is that this is also an aspect which can change over time. So at the very first stage, there might be some kind of issues, problems, difficulties. After that, we may have some positive influences. So generally, there might be some kind of tension on the 1st of May, and the topic about emotions, relationships will be important. Now, the position of the moon. Now, first of all, the moon will be in Scorpio during the first half of the day. And you know that when the moon is in Scorpio, these are basically one of the most challenging days during the month. Now, the good news is that around noon, the moon will enter Sagittarius. So there should be a big shift on an energetical level. So if you need something to work on something which is more focused on the future, on things which are related to traveling, to education, the second half of the day should be more positive for you. Now, on the 2nd of May, we still have the transit moon in Sagittarius. So generally, this is a very positive indication. If you would like to start something long-lasting or something which is really focused on the future, and you have some important goals to work on. Generally, when the moon is in Sagittarius, we are more optimistic, more positive. Also, there will be a semi-sextile between Mercury and Neptune, and this is a harmonious aspect which can help us to be more intuitive, to be basically to be more sensitive also when we are communicating with other people. So generally for negotiations, this is a nice transit. And also pay attention to your inner voice. Trust your intuition. So the 2nd of May should be a nice positive day. Then on the 3rd of May, the moon is in Sagittarius and makes positive aspect with Uranus, which is in Aries. Now, keep in mind that this is the last time when the moon is in Sagittarius and makes trine with Uranus, which is in Aries. Of course, the reason is because Uranus will enter Taurus in a few days. And basically, this will be one of the most important events during the whole year, and I would say the most important during May. So the 3rd of May is the last time we have this trine. And by the way, I also want to remind you, if you haven't watched the webinar about Uranus in the horoscope, the natal aspects, you can find them. You can find the video on my YouTube channel. Just let me check if I have. Okay, I will add the link in the description below later. And if you would like to join the webinar about Uranus in Taurus, you can find the link in the description again. So the 3rd of May, a very fiery combination, moon in Sagittarius making trine with Uranus. Great time to take some risks, to do something different, to experiment, to have a more original approach, and to be more, to be more creative. It's about taking action. It's about focusing on something, being optimistic, and doing things in a different way. So generally, creative combination, positive for new initiatives, for important things where you need to be more original, more creative in your approach. Then we have the 4th of May. The 4th of May, it looks in a different way because the moon will be in Capricorn and also it will join Saturn there. So the 4th of May is great for taking care of your responsibilities, some important things which you have to do. So it may not be something really pleasant, or it may not bring you inner joy, but if you have to do it, you might be more productive when the moon is in Capricorn, and it's actually very positive to schedule your day when the moon is in Capricorn. So the 4th and the 5th, the moon is in Capricorn. So great days for working harder on our duties, responsibilities, work, business projects, anything related to government issues or some administrative issues. And sometimes, of course, we have to be prepared that it might get a little boring, especially when also Saturn is in Capricorn. It's not about having fun. So the best way is actually to follow the flow of the energy and to plan the things which we need to do. You will be happy after that with your results. And remember that one of the greatest gifts of Saturn is that it brings stability. So anything which you're starting on influence of Saturn, when the moon is in Capricorn, or it makes aspect with Saturn, this activity can be, or the results from this can be long lasting. Okay, so then we have the 5th of May. Basically, this will be Saturday, but as we said, the moon is still in Capricorn. So even though it's Saturday, this is a great day for work, for obligations. Maybe it could be about your family, maybe it could be something about your home or something private, but focus again more on your responsibilities. Also, during the 5th of May, we have to be more careful because the moon will make conjunction with Mars and Pluto. And they are, of course, both in Capricorn. So there might be some tension around us. People might confront with each other. People might be more impatient. So generally, be careful. Also, the possibility for some kind of accidents is higher. So be careful during this day. All right. And also on the 5th of May, we have a quincunx between Mercury and Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter, they're both related to learning and education. So this could be a nice aspect if you need to learn something new, work with information, and also to change a little bit your plans. Because Mercury is more about the small things and the small details. On the other hand, Jupiter is about the bigger picture, the main goal that we have. And the quincunx requires some kind of shift. So maybe we need to, change something about our plans, about our goals. And definitely this is a transit which will activate also our minds. The intellectual area is very strong. So actually it could also be a productive day, even if it's Saturday. Then we have Sunday, the 6th of May. We have a great combination here. First of all, the Sun will make a sextile with Neptune. A very inspiring combination. It could be very creative, especially if you're an artist, especially if you're interested in spiritual things. You can feel really nice. You might have more opportunities to practice your favorite hobbies or things that you really love. And also people are more polite with each other. They're more supportive, more empathic. So generally very nice transit. The other great news is that the moon will be in Aquarius. And this will be also kind of relief for us. We can have more variety in our lives. Things might be more interesting, more exciting. So if you have to choose, to plan something like some kind of entertainment for this specific Saturday and Sunday, it would be better to plan it for Sunday, when we have the positive aspect between the Sun and Neptune, and also the Moon is already in Aquarius. And generally things related to friends and group activities are also very, very pleasant during this day. And another transit on the 6th of May is a semi-square between Venus and Uranus. Now, from one side, this is a challenging aspect, which means that there might be something surprising, something even a little bit stressful. But on the other hand, it can bring also more excitement. So definitely the day is interesting. The day can be emotional. And you can change something about relationships, about partnerships. Okay. Let's move to next week, which starts on the 7th of May. All right, so we are going to have two challenging aspects on the 7th of May. Square between Mercury and Pluto, and square between Venus and Neptune. First of all, Mercury and Pluto can bring challenges in our communication, generally communication with everyone. Also, people might be more suspicious. People don't trust each other. There might be some secrets revealed. There might be some secret intentions in other people. So generally be careful if you're negotiating, if you're communicating with someone. Now, on the other hand, this is also a positive aspect if you would like to change something, to transform something. And you may feel really empowered. Now, keep in mind that this combination can also make you extremely focused on something. This could be a project, activity, concrete idea, and sometimes this can turn into an obsession. That's the challenge with the squares. But on the other hand, we may also be so focused on something that we may find very interesting solutions. So yeah, interesting combination. The other aspect, the square between Venus and Neptune, again on the 7th of May, will affect more the area of relationships and emotions. Very sensitive combination, Neptune and Venus, can make us definitely oversensitive, over emotional. So be extremely careful how you're treating others. Because on the other hand, the square between Mercury and Pluto can make us use some, hard words, can make us be really sometimes even rude and polite with people. And they can hurt, they might get hurt. because of this aspect between Venus and Neptune. Also, Venus and Neptune can bring possible illusions sometimes disappointments from our emotional life, from our relationship. So keep in mind that probably the things you're imagining are exaggerated and your perspective is not so objective. And finally, we also have the moon in Aquarius. So very harmonious combination in this case, because Aquarius is a mental sign. So it can help us and balance a little bit the over emotional aspect between Venus and Neptune. Again, for original approach, interesting, exciting activities, group activities, this should be a very productive day. Okay, next we have the 8th of May. There will be an exact opposition between the Sun and Jupiter. This is a major aspect considered to be challenging, but on the other hand, it's not so difficult because none of these planets is actually challenging malefic planets. And the opposition may require from us to change something about our perspective about the future. This could be changing your long-term plans. This could be changing something about your belief system. Maybe it's not, like a complete transformation, but this might be something small, and at the same time, it could be important for you. So think about your goals, how you're expecting your future, and what you can change about those expectations, how you can change your plans. Sometimes those plans may not go as we have planned, we have prepared, as we are expecting, especially with the moon in Aquarius. During this day, the 8th of May, the moon is in Aquarius, which also can bring some surprises, something unexpected, something which can be also very exciting, very interesting. So prepare for some kind of changes on the 8th of May. Okay. Now, on the 9th of May, we have the moon in Pisces, and also on the 10th of May. Now, in my opinion, when the moon is in Pisces, these are one of the less productive days during the whole month. Personally, I'm strongly influenced by the moon because it rules my ascendant, but not only for people who have, a strong moon or ruled by the moon or Cancer, Sun, or ascendant. I have noticed that generally when the transit moon is in Pisces, and by the way, my natal moon is also in Pisces, another reason why I can feel the energy very strong, but generally this is not a productive time, especially if you need to put some efforts on something. Like physical efforts, if you need to be concentrated, if you need to pay attention to details, do some routine stuff, something which is not so interesting, not creative, probably it will be difficult. I know that sometimes we have to take care of those things, but if you can plan, if you can prepare, it would be better to avoid, when the moon is in Pisces, to plan, important things which require a lot of physical energy. So the 9th and the 10th of May are those days during this month when the moon will be in Pisces. On the other hand, they can be great for creative projects. If you're an artist, or if you have a more creative project to work on, or I don't know, if you have to work with those kind of people, then of course the days can be productive for you from that perspective. Also for spiritual things, especially the 10th of May, because on the 10th of May the moon is in Pisces and also will join the Neptune there. This is a very powerful combination. It can make us also extremely sensitive. Keep in mind that. Oversensitive, over emotional. We can dream about things. We may not be so grounded. Sometimes we may also be very sensitive about some foods, if this is, something you need to be careful in general with. Also with medications, with alcohol or drugs. Keep in mind that you need to be more careful. So this is on the 9th of May and especially the 10th of May when the moon is in Pisces and also joins Neptune there. And on the 9th of May, we also have a quincunx between Venus and Jupiter. Venus and Jupiter are the two benefactors, which means that they bring positive events. They bring luck, happiness. Now, the quincunx is one of those interesting, complicated aspects, but you may still be surprised by something nice, which probably you will receive without working really hard on that. Because none of those planets is related to hard work, Venus and Jupiter. So there might be something positive like a pleasant surprise or, nice emotional experience. And yeah, this is for the 9th of May. Then on the 10th of May, we talked about the moon in Pisces together with Neptune. Okay, just let me take a breath here. All right. Next, we have the 11th of May. On the 11th of May, we have a trine between the Sun and Pluto. And also the moon is in Aries. So this should be a very, very productive day. So this is a great time to plan important projects where you need to be brave, you need to be confident, you need to take action. Pluto is one of the planets which are related to our will. This is not the personal will, this is more like the collective will. And we are using this type of will when we are doing something with social importance. It might still include ourselves, but it could be also, about your work or something for the group that you are part of. But basically, this is something that changes lives of many people. So you may feel really empowered, strong, confident. The energy is great for taking action. And of course, the moon in Aries also supports the same things. And keep in mind that after the moon has been in Pisces, right after it enters Aries, the shift is very, very significant. And you may feel much more energized, ready to take risks, to start things, to to be more confident, to be more concentrated on concrete goals and actions. So the 11th of May is great for work, for basically anything which requires direction, efforts, and confidence. All right, then let me see. On the 12th of May, we have a square between Mercury and Mars. And this might be an aspect which can bring possible confrontations with other people. So the communication may not be so smooth. Sometimes people may use harsh words. They might confront with each other. So be careful. Generally, I wouldn't recommend this day for negotiations. If you're spending the day, after it's Saturday, if you're spending it with your family, then be careful how you're treating your closest people. Also, the moon is in Aries, which, of course, the positive side can make you very active, initiative, brave, but Aries is also the sign ruled by Mars. So there is an increased chance for confrontations. People may not want to make compromises. So keep that in mind. And the other aspect is a quincunx between Venus and Pluto. It can, make the emotional atmosphere even more intense. And sometimes people can be very sensitive about topics like power, control, jealousy sometimes. So be careful in relationships, in negotiations with close people. Okay, then we have the 13th of May. And there is a very interesting combination. So first, Mercury will make conjunction with Uranus. And after that, Mercury will enter Taurus. So first of all, this is a very interesting combination, Mercury and Uranus, which can bring a lot of excitement, great new ideas, innovative ideas, which can come like from nowhere. They come like a storm, very typical for Uranus. and Mercury together. So prepare for some surprises. If you have some intellectual work, then you might be extremely productive and more original. So it might be Sunday, but you may still work on something and be very productive. The other thing, we said Mercury enters Taurus. It will change the way of communication between people. When Mercury is in Taurus, things become more concrete, things become more focused on practical things. Our way of thinking is more logical, also more objective, and in general things are slowing down a little bit. Taurus is an earth and fixed sign, so everything which enters Taurus has a slower energy. I'm not sure if it sounds very well, but I think you get what you mean. All right, and we also have on the 13th of May a semi-sextile between the Sun and Venus. This is actually a nice harmonious aspect about communication with close people, about our love life, pleasant emotional experiences, for entertainment, for hobbies, for beauty, for art as well. And the moon will change its sign position on the 13th of May. During the first half of the day, the moon is in Aries, which means that the energy is more dynamic. And if you have some work to do, some obligations, probably it would be better to plan it for the first half of the day. And around noon, the moon will enter Taurus. So basically, during the second half of the day, both the moon and Mercury will enter Taurus. So there should be, again, a significant change. Things are slowing down, becoming calmer and more predictable. And also, we might be more focused on practical issues. Money issues, home stuff, domestic stuff, those type of things are actually positive. Okay, so next we are moving to another Monday, the 14th. Okay, so the 14th of May, we have three aspects. Mercury makes semi-square with Neptune, which requires from us to be more careful about details. When we work with information, we can forget about something, we can make a mistake, or the information may not be accurate. So on the 14th, be careful with those things. Also, semi-square between the Sun and Saturn, which can bring some possible restrictions or boundaries we have to cross, or also some challenges with authority figures are possible. So be careful with that. And also there is a quintile between Mars and Jupiter. This can actually be a nice aspect which can help you to focus on doing something which is important to you, can make you more ambitious, willing to do something important. Now, the other thing which is very important for the 14th of May is that the moon is becoming invisible. The moon becomes invisible around the new moon. So this happens every month. The moon becomes invisible for a few days. Generally, this is the time when you should avoid starting new things which are important. When the moon is visible, the results from your efforts may not be so visible. Also, the energetical level is not so high. So again, similar to the moon in Pisces, I would say even stronger. You need to maybe to relax more, to avoid the important activities and projects. And I also don't recommend important things when the moon is invisible. So the 14th of May. Then on the 15th of May, basically this is the most important day during the whole month. First of all, the transit Uranus will enter Taurus. This is something huge. And if you are not, if you don't know yet, we are doing a special webinar about this important event. Uranus will stay in Taurus for 7 years. And this is something really, really important, because Uranus is the planet which can bring the most significant changes, or at least one of the most significant changes in your life. So if you would like to prepare more for this interesting event, for this interesting period, you're welcome to join the webinar. The webinar is on the 12th of May, but you will get also a recording, so you can join us live or watch later. So one of the greatest, one of the most important events during the whole year, Uranus in Taurus. Also on the 15th of May, we have a new moon in Taurus. How interesting is that? That during the same day, we have Uranus, an outer planet, entering Taurus, and also new moon in Taurus. Very significant combination. We will talk more in details. Probably there will be also another video where you will have a forecast about the specific new moon. But keep in mind that the new moon puts the beginning of the new lunar cycle. So generally, if you would like to start something new, it would be better to do it after the new moon. The moon, keep in mind, the moon is still invisible on the 15th and even on the 16th of May. But after that, when the moon, basically the moon is growing after the new moon, this is a great time for starting new projects, new activities, important things. And the other event on the 15th of May is the ingression of Mars in Aquarius. Mars changes its sign position approximately once in 2 months. And Mars is related to our activeness, to our efforts, to our work. It's very important for business. And there is a huge difference between Mars in Capricorn and Mars in Aquarius. When Mars enters Aquarius, we might be more capable of taking risks. We might be more capable of starting things faster. But on the other hand, the risk is that we may also change our direction frequently. So we may not be so persistent in our plans, in our actions. So again, very interesting combination. Then on the 16th of May, we have also square between Mars and Uranus. So as we already said, Mars has just entered Taurus and Aquarius, and Uranus has just entered Taurus. So there will be an exact square between those two planets, which can bring possible accidents, sometimes unexpected events, some stress. And generally, it's more difficult to predict the outcome of things. So be careful on the 16th of May. Avoid any, risky activities like some sports, especially extreme sports, which bring risks. And be careful when you're driving with technical stuff. Also, there might be some issues because of this aspect. On the 16th of May, also the moon will be in Gemini. So this is a great day for communication, for new ideas, which might be very exciting, completely new, very original because of the strong Uranus energy. And also for communicating with friends, this could be a nice. Then we have the 17th of May. On the 17th of May, the moon is still in Gemini, but also it will join Venus there. A very strong feminine energy, because these are the two feminine planets. So great things for everything which is related to beauty, to your appearance, to basically changing something in your, it could be dresses, it could be your hair, going to a hairdresser, makeup, beauty procedures are very positive on this day. Also communication and expressing your thoughts, because after all, the conjunction is in Gemini. So this is a great time actually to share your partner how you're feeling, maybe to show him your appreciation, express emotions with words. Generally, this should be a harmonious day. Okay, then we have the 18th of May. Okay, there is a very interesting aspect, a trine between Mercury and Saturn on the 18th of May. This can really help us to be very logical about our decisions. Both of the planets are in Earth signs, so again, it makes us more grounded, more concentrated on practical issues and planning things. So try to schedule this day, or during this day, you can schedule and plan for a longer period ahead. Generally, this is a nice transit also for business negotiations, business contracts, any kinds of business projects as well. So I would say very productive combination, especially for work. At the same time, again on the 18th of May, the moon is in Cancer, which is a very emotional sign, also related to family issues, home. So you may also enjoy spending more time with your family or kids, doing something about your home, even relaxing more. And when the moon is in Cancer, it also makes trine with Jupiter, which is in Scorpio, and Neptune, which is in Pisces. So basically, we have a grand water trine during this day, which increases our emotions, makes them more intense. At the same time, we might be very intuitive, we might be very creative, and we might be really successful in doing something because the moon makes the positive supportive aspect with Jupiter on the 18th of May. Then on the 19th of May, Venus will enter Cancer. Venus in Cancer also brings more emotions. A very interesting position, and also it can make it really nice to spend more time with our families. Cancer is the sign which is related to your home, your children, your family in general. So Venus as a planet of entertainment and joy can basically awaken the desire to be more with our closest people, can harmonize family communications, relationships as well. Now, also, by the way, keep in mind that when Venus is in Cancer, we might be oversensitive. It's not exactly like, being a drama queen, but it's getting closer to that. Because recently Venus was in Gemini, which is after all an intellectual sign. So the emotions are very light when Venus is in Gemini. And, we can let things go easier. So yeah, there is no drama. Cancer is a little bit more dramatic than Gemini. So prepare that people will be more sensitive, more emotional. On the other hand, you can connect better with others when we have, more emotions around us. And again, on the 19th of May, Venus also makes sextile with Uranus. So there might be some exciting emotions, there might be some surprises in relationships. So a great time actually to do something different with your partner. And the other aspect during this day is a quintile between the Sun and Neptune. It increases again the sensitivity of people, the intuition, desire to do something more creative. So yeah, interesting combination as well. And the other aspect, the last aspect for the 19th of May, is a semi-square between Mars and Neptune. The challenging aspects between Mars and Neptune sometimes can make us lazy. We might be not so motivated to work hard on something, and we may just prefer to, relax, stay at home. Especially also with the moon in Cancer, you may really enjoy just to lay down on the couch, dream about something, do something nice, maybe enjoy the company of your close people, but it's not a day for serious work and efforts. All right, and then the 20th of May, which is Sunday, we have the transit Sun entering Gemini. Definitely this will, this will make things move faster. Gemini is a sign which brings more variety. Also, our ideas might be more active. We might be more productive in thinking out of new solutions or new ideas. Communication with others is also very important. Friendships, information, traveling, learning new things, all of those topics will be important for us during the upcoming month, not only for this concrete date. So from the 20th of May, I have to check, but around the 21st or 22nd of June, the Sun will enter Cancer. So until that time, generally, communications will be really important. Also on the 20th of May, Venus has a quincunx with Mars, a topic which can be related to relationships, communication between partners. There might be some small confrontations you need to work on, but the final result can be interesting. This combination also can bring more passion. And Venus also makes a square and a half with Jupiter. This aspect requires from us to change something about our goals. Maybe we may realize that we want more than we can get, or we need to change something about our values, or we can realize that what we are valuing is completely different from others, from the society. So basically, these are interesting topics about values. And on the 20th of May, the moon is in Leo. So Leo is a great sign for entertainments, for, enjoying your life, for your romantic dates, spending time with children, hobbies, creative projects, parties. So this should be a nice combination. Okay, we are moving to next week, the 21st of May, Monday. This week will start with the semi-sextile between the Sun and Uranus. This is a harmonious aspect, supportive aspect, which can bring some surprises, unexpected things, and also can help us to be more original in our approach, in work, in projects, basically in everything which we are doing. This is also the first time after Uranus has entered Taurus when we will have aspect between the Sun and Uranus. So this is basically completely new energy. And we might be really surprised with the possible impact of this transit. At the same time, the moon is in Leo. So again, great time for entertainments, for, attracting attention, doing things which will basically help you to be more confident. Romantic dates, hobbies, all of those things are very positive about the 21st of May. Then on the 22nd of May, we have a sextile between Mercury and Neptune. A very creative combination. This is one of the aspects which can really increase your intuition, can help you to understand things on a different level. Also can make you very empathic when you're communicating with others. So people can be very polite, very kind. So generally for negotiations, this is a nice day. And also for creative work, where you need to use more your imagination, your creativity, to be inspired about doing something. And also on the 22nd of May, the transit moon is in Virgo. So interesting combination, because Virgo basically is the opposite of Neptune. Virgo is about being analytical, logical, concentrated on details, working with information. So this may turn into a very constructive, very creative combination. From one side, we might be extremely intuitive, we might be really inspired, and we can still use this inspiration in some practical things, in something concrete. So for work, this, I would say, this could be a nice day. Then the 23rd of May, we have two major exact aspects. First of all, there is a trine between the Sun and Mars, which can be a very, very interesting aspect, can help you to be more confident, to focus your actions on something, to be brave, to take some risks also. And the trine is in the in the air signs. Mars is in Aquarius, and the Sun is already in Gemini. So for intellectual work, projects, negotiations, communications, information, learning, a great day. And the other aspect for the same day, the 23rd of May, is an opposition between Mercury and Jupiter. This is a challenging aspect which requires from us to redefine our priorities. And basically, we should focus on some practical things. And on the other hand, to realize what's important and what needs to be done right now and what we can schedule for the future. So redefining of priorities. Generally, this wouldn't be a nice day for financial decisions because Mercury is in Taurus and Jupiter is in Scorpio. Those are the two signs related to finances, resources, money, energy. So when we have this opposition, we may spend more money on something than we have planned. Or sometimes, those new products that we might be buying may not be what we need exactly. So generally be careful with finances and with investments. And on the 23rd of May, the moon is still in Virgo. So it requires from us, again, practical approach, focus on work, being concrete, pay attention to details, those type of things. All right, then we move to the 24th of May. Here we have a very interesting combination between the moon and Venus. So the moon will be in Libra and Venus will be in Cancer. So there will be a square between the planets, which means that there is some kind of confrontations between their energy, something we need to work on, something which requires effort. But at the same time, they are in a mutual reception. Basically, it means that the moon is in the sign which is typically ruled by Venus. This sign is Libra. And at the same time, Venus is in the sign which is typically ruled by the moon, Cancer. So when we have these such crossed positions, it's about your birth chart, it's about the transits, it doesn't matter. It's considered to be also similar to a weak conjunction. Not really powerful, close conjunction, let's say conjunction with a larger orbis. And of course, it increases the exchange of energy between the planets. So topics related to women are very important. There might be some possible confrontations, things we need to work on. But on the other hand, we might be more sensitive than usual. And we actually may say exactly how we feel to others, and this can help to solve some possible issues. So generally emotional combination on the 24th of May. Then on the 25th of May we have two trines. First of all, a trine between Jupiter and Neptune. This is a very important transit, and also this is a longer transit than the others because those planets are moving slower. And this is a very spiritual combination. Jupiter and Neptune have a similar energy, not in everything, but they have some mutual qualities. And basically the spiritual side is mutual for Jupiter and Neptune. So or anything related to spirituality, maybe learning something in this area, maybe a new education, or some projects if you're working in this area. Also, anything about creativity can be really successful if you started around those days. And generally, it increases the intuition. Keep in mind that this transit will be extremely positive for the water and also for the earth signs. Basically, these are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And also the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn will feel stronger the impact of this trine. Also on the 25th of May, we have a trine between Mercury and Pluto. And interesting aspect which can help us to work with information, to understand things in depth, to be capable of transforming something as well, about our plans, about our communication with others. And we may feel really empowered actually when we are negotiating, when we are talking, when we are connecting with other people. So interesting combination. Also, if you work, for example, in any scientific area, or maybe something about practical things, because after all, Mercury will be in Taurus and Pluto is in Capricorn. So the earth energy is strong, and it's about practical things, material stuff, financial stuff as well. This would be a nice day actually for financial decisions and investments, because Mercury is in Taurus, the sign, one of the signs which rules money, and Pluto, on the other hand, is one of the planets which ruled finances, and Pluto rules, the big money, like banks, like huge investments. So even if you're not doing a huge investment in something, it can still be a nice day to focus on that area. And also on the 25th, the moon is in Libra. So relationships can be important, partnerships, communication with others. And generally, this is a nice day for negotiations. Okay, next we have the 26th of May. This is Saturday. Now, there will be some tension on this day because Venus will make exact opposition with Saturn. And this can bring some emotional frustration, some kind of love disappointments are possible, or there might be more distance between people. In some way, you can feel like you cannot do everything that you would like to, that you truly enjoy. So I would say more tension during this day. Also, the transit moon is in Scorpio. This is one of the most challenging positions, as I have shared my opinion with you so many times. When the moon is in Scorpio, the tension is much higher than usual on an emotional level specifically. So generally, the 26th of May can be more difficult for personal things, for relationships, for our romantic life. Also, on the 26th, the moon will make its first opposition with Uranus after it has entered Taurus. So there might be something stressful, unexpected, including the area of finances as well. Mercury will make a semi-square with Venus, and Mercury will make square and a half with Saturn. That's an interesting combination, which can help us to basically solve the issues, because we have a synthetic triangle. Venus opposing Saturn. At the same time, Mercury makes aspects with both Venus and Saturn. When we have such configurations, it's easier to find a constructive direction for this energy. In this way, the solution is Mercury. So it means being more rational and basically analyzing the situation. So not allowing our emotions to lead us and to define our actions. We need to be more practical about the things we would like to do. Okay, and then we have the 27th of May, Sunday. We have a square and a half between the Sun and Pluto. and the moon is still in Scorpio. So basically, Scorpio is the sign which is ruled by Pluto. So a Pluto energy during this day, which also might bring increased tension, and people might be over emotional, oversensitive. At the same time, topics like power are important. People can be sensitive about that. And it may not be so easy actually to communicate with groups, with collectives of people. Basically, that's one of the things related to Pluto as well. Possible confrontations also. And the good news is that when the moon is in Scorpio, it will make trine with Venus, which is in Cancer, and after that conjunction in Jupiter, with Jupiter. So there might be something positive. There might be something pleasant after all, but again, here I think the most important is to be more positive and optimistic. Basically, Jupiter is about being optimistic and positive. Okay, then we are moving to the 28th of May. On the 28th of May, the moon, during the first half of the day, the moon will be in Scorpio and will make opposition with Mercury. So generally, there might be difficult communications with others, not the best time for negotiations, also for financial decisions. We again have opposition in Scorpio and Taurus, so be careful with expenses, with money, with investments as well. And during the second half of basically around the evening, the moon will enter Sagittarius. So there should be a relief. The emotional atmosphere should become easier, more optimistic, more positive. So from the evening of the 28th of May, things are more positive. And then on the 29th of May, we have a full moon. A full moon in Sagittarius and Gemini. We will have another video. We will talk in details. The exact positions are for the moon 9 degrees in Sagittarius and for the sun 9 degrees in in Gemini. So check where exactly those degrees are falling in your chart. All right. Also, the 29th of May, Mercury enters Gemini. Generally, this is very nice because Mercury rules Gemini, so the planet feels really comfortable in this position, which is great news for communications, for anyone who is related to Mercury. For example, people working with social media, with trading, with education, or anything related to traveling. Basically, there are more ideas, things are happening faster, more dynamic energy in general. Also, on the 29th, we have quintile between Mercury and Neptune. It increases our creativity, increases our imagination. So you might be more productive in creative projects. And the intuition is stronger as well. And again, the 29th of May, there is a quincunx between the Sun and Saturn. So there might be some possible restrictions, or even if they're not concrete restrictions, we may have some responsibilities to take care of. So for work, this might be a productive day. You may need to work harder than you have expected, but the results might be stable and long-lasting. And then we have the 13th of May. There will be a quintile between Venus and Uranus. Very interesting combination because from one hand, Uranus is a planet which brings possible changes and excitement. And the quintile is also an aspect which can bring possible changes and choices that we can make. So this can be a day when there might be some pleasant emotional surprises. We can make some new choices. We can change something about our personal life or relationships or even finances. The other aspect is a semi-sextile between Mercury and Uranus again. These can help us to be really creative, original in our ideas. So great time to change something in your plans as well, to try something new, to be more original. New solutions, new directions are possible. Also on the 13th, the moon is in Sagittarius. So great time to concentrate on the future, on important things, on your plans, your goals, your expectations for the future. And finally, we have the last day of May, the 31st. The moon is in Capricorn. And again, it requires from us to be more focused on work, on responsibilities. Things are happening usually slower than usual. On the other hand, right after the moon enters Capricorn, it will make trine with Uranus. The first time when the moon from Capricorn will make trine with Uranus in Taurus. So from now on, basically when the moon enters Capricorn, things might be more interesting than they used to be. So there might be something exciting, or at least even if you're focused on work, you might be more original in your work. You can try something new, try something different. And it might be more exciting than you have expected. After that, during the second half of the day, the moon will make conjunction with Saturn. So things might become a little bit more boring, a little bit more routine, but at the same time more stable. So January the 31st of May can be a productive day for your work, for obligations, and for responsibilities. Okay, so actually we managed to do this report for 1 hour. I think we have done a great job. Please let me know, guys, if this is helpful, if you like those type of general reports. In this way, I will know if you would like me to do them in the future. Okay, and again, don't forget, the key event during this month is Uranus entering Taurus. You can find the link in the description below for the special webinar about Uranus in Taurus. And you can join us. Basically, you will learn a lot of things about the nature of this planet, the mythology, the influence of the different aspects with your personal planets. What does it mean to have Uranus transiting different houses in your horoscope? So we can prepare for the upcoming 7 years. Also, I'm planning to make a group meditation. Of course, with all of you who join me on the webinar, we are going to do that. And maybe we can do again the same meditation on the 15th, exactly at the time when Uranus enters Taurus. Just let me calculate the exact time. So this will be, I think it's around 2:17 p.m. GMT time on the 15th. So what does it make in Eastern time? It should be, I think, 10 a.m., 10:17 a.m. I will check, of course. But yeah, for the USA, this will be morning time. In Europe, this is around the afternoon, the exact time when Uranus enters Taurus. So I will invite you guys to join me on the 12th of May and after that for a special group meditation, so we can prepare for this magical event. Interesting month. At the same time, we have also very supportive events, indications. So I really hope that you can prepare and it will be helpful to you. Okay. I think that you have liked the reports. Also, by the way, if you don't have my free calendar for 2018, you can go to my website. Basically, just open one of the daily horoscopes, anyone, and in the sidebar, you will see So under the blog section and then daily horoscopes, in the sidebar you will find 2018 astro calendar. This is a free calendar. If you don't have it yet, it will also show you the direct and retrograde motion of all of the planets, because you know that during 2018 many planets will change their directions, including Mars, including Venus. So we have a lot of things to prepare for and to talk about. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks a lot to everyone watching after that. And I will see you guys very soon. Don't forget, you can still watch your daily horoscopes every day at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm uploading, they are scheduled actually, the daily horoscopes. During this May, they were shooted in the forest. I hope it will help you to connect with the Taurus energy, with the nature, and just enjoy this energy. Okay, so thanks again so much to everyone, and I'll see you really soon.